Well, hello there, everybody. Just before we get into all the juicy stuff that's in the title of the video, I wanted to explain a little bit for those of you who have been waiting for a video, a little bit of what's been going on. So, as you know with me, I don't really talk about real-life stuff. I tend to do a big separation. For YouTube, I like to talk about the games that we're covering and kind of keep it focused on them rather than me. And there is a downside to that, which is when stuff affects me in real life, which is very rare, I would say, and certainly not to the extent recently, you guys kind of don't get much of an explanation. But yeah, so you may have noticed the past month or so there, just over a month actually, I think. Last we were talking was just as Halloween came in, and now that's left. There hasn't been any videos, even several of the streams basically got cancelled. I do sincerely apologize for that. I don't mean to appear that I don't care about the channel. This is my livelihood. I definitely care about the channel. It's just, I don't tend to explain that kind of stuff in full. So hopefully you guys understand. Today is my first day really getting back to work and looking at things, and I've missed a ton that's going on. So I feel majorly out of the loop. Even just being logged in here feels kind of strange. I've missed so many dailies, so much login rewards, so much everything. I've not been keeping up with any news. So yeah, this will be quite interesting to have a look at. Right, so what do we talk about? Well, first of all, yes, this most recent Tuesday, there was a big release. And when I say a big release, I mean a seriously big one, in that you're not even going to see how I get to cover all of it in today's video, namely because of the Rune and Sigil side of things. So let's talk about that first. On screen, you can see a scrolling table right now. These are all runes and sigils that were just updated. So yeah, I think about a fortnight ago, when I wasn't able to be around or looking at things, the devs revealed that there was going to be a Rune and Sigil rebalance. These come by fairly infrequently, maybe every 2 years or so, but I get really excited about these kinds of things. Runes and Sigils hook into so many aspects of so many areas of the game. It doesn't matter if you're world versus world, a PvP, a PvE, a mix of all of it, somewhere runes will affect you, and it's an easy way to add interesting like new build opportunities. It's almost like a balance patch, but every rune can be ran by every class and every elite specialization in the game. There's going to be something juicy in there, and we all know, as with many MMOs, Guild Wars is a game that has a lot of options that really don't mean very much, so that the fact that the devs take the time to do a big pass means a ton, and really they did an enormous one. Some of the general changes are, as they described in a recent blog post you guys can see on screen here. They wanted to reduce or change the way that on-strike effects occur. So many runes in the game had things where if I get hit by something, then it flares an ability back. So right now, what have I actually got equipped here on this character? I'm not entirely sure. Well, I have Radiance, so that was never really particularly relevant. But, you know, like a Balthazar rune, I think, had trigger a fire explosion around you when you get attacked, or gain quickness when you're under a certain health percentage when you get attacked. The devs basically say that they felt that was a bit unwieldy and they wanted to iron out a lot of that. So a great example is Runes of the Ogre, which I love. Runes of the Ogre are like super OP scholar runes for any kind of solo environment because they summon an add-on for you. You know, a rock dog that runs around with you that can take aggro off of you, can do its own damage and whatnot. But you used to only be able to spawn the rock dog when you were attacked. Now, the rock dog will spawn when you get in combat. You guys might remember when Path of Fire came out, warriors got a kind of a crappy trait called Brave Stride, which meant their first attack when they get in combat gives them stability. Well, it looks like the devs are taking that idea, the first attack in combat does something, and applying that to several runes. So anyway, this is a huge list, and it's come for Sigils too. I'm going to do a dedicated video on it. I'm only just kind of de-rusting and figuring out what's going on right now. I haven't even looked at the whole thing. So if you guys have comments and suggestions to help wean me back into the world of Tyria and this fantastic update, I'll be sure to highlight those in the upcoming production. So that is one major thing that came with this patch, but there are some other things too. So let's just roll on through. Salvaging, the devs say here on the patch notes, runes and sigils are becoming salvageable. When salvaged, they will yield new materials that can be used to craft sigils or runes as well as new items. So there's kind of a whole new side of crafting with this new currency you get from salvaging these specific items to make more of these items. You could already kind of do that in the Mystic Forge. but now you can do it in a more granular, precise way. A majority of runes and sigils are also changed into greater versatility and variety, and to promote more active gameplay. Have fun picking out the gear upgrades that best suit your playstyle. Numerous recipes for runes and sigils are being introduced that can be obtained from crafting trainers or discovered interior. In addition, every recipe has been changed. Happy recipe hunting. So yes, kind of nuts, honestly. I'll go to the crafters now on the video, so maybe we can see what they look like a little bit. But what you guys will recognize, one of the big issues since, what do I say, even a year before Heart of Thorns probably, with Guild Wars has been major runes, major sigils, and lower that just don't really mean anything as far as the game's concerned. They're just trash that you sell away, and the devs have been looking for ways to deal with that. Well, now, if you go right-click Salvage All, and you choose to salvage through all your stuff, you see like this Grove rune that I get here when I salvage through this stuff. In theory, the rune won't clog my inventory anymore because it should salvage through the rune as well, giving me the new rune crafting oriented stuff. I can't quite see in my inventory if it did there. But yeah, so, or maybe we'd have to look again. Yeah, it might have. So yeah, that's kind of nice. You'll also see a little change here, by the way. There's a new salvage stack option. This is not listed in the patch notes. But what this means is if I click this and then I click the stack of, well, I just salvaged all my stacks, didn't I? But basically that will dig through an entire stack for you instead of you having to sit individually watching it scroll through, as we did a little bit just there with Salvage All. So that's kind of nice. Anyway, so going on, there's a bit of world polish for one of the starter maps. Salvage kits. The chance to extract a rune or sigil from equipment is now a chance to salvage the upgrades directly into their crafting materials. That doesn't affect Black Lion salvage kits, which continue to always extract upgrades intact. The Sigil of Mischief, the Mystic Forge recipes for all versions of that have been removed. Snowfall, they've been removed. I'm guessing this is because they've got their own proper way of doing it through disciplines now. Potent Lucent Oil has been made available for crafting from Huntsman. Enhanced Lucent Oil and the element of the Arbor Trophy for awakening the Druid Stone Collection achievement is now available. That stuff's pretty boring. Coming down, there were some slight profession tweaks. Here's one for Scourge, Abrasive Grit. So this is whenever you apply a barrier, you give Might and Cleanse Condies. They changed this to now have a 5-second cooldown. And in exchange they bumped the Might. So I think the cooldown there is to do with the Condi Cleanse aspect. And I've always felt that Might application was supposed to be a bigger aspect of Scourge than it ended up in the end. So the fact that they buff and reshuffle the strength of this into a bit more of the Might application, I actually kind of like. So that was one change. Another was Underwater Toss Elixir U. Now, if you guys watch my videos from a few months back now, you might remember I talked about this. The Underwater Elixir U wasn't tweaked. Well, there you go. It is now. Mesmer had a tooltip change. Revenant, Rising Momentum. If you remember from the Herald rework, we did a video on that. This is the new trait that means the more upkeep you're spending, the faster you move. And it stacks really heavily. Well, they say here that they fixed a bug that removed more movement speed than intended when Facet of Nature was deactivated. Not sure exactly what they mean by that. And then lastly, Warrior has a kind of a funny thing. Their heal skill to the limit is a shout. This skill will no longer cause warriors to shout, "I will avenge you." Funny story. I believe if you go to the wiki and you look at some early builds of the game, or maybe it was very early data mining, "I will avenge you" was actually planned to be a warrior shout for this game that got cut before release. They never did it in the end. Of course, it was a very iconic shout in Guild Wars 1's times. So maybe when they cut it as a dedicated skill, they then decided to put the audio as a rare thing on the heal, and now they're getting rid of it on the heal, which is a bit of a shame, but there you go. I can't say I ever noticed that. So yeah, you got those changes. Now here's probably one of the most exciting things to me. I'll go to Heart of the Mist to show it off for you guys. It's there in the title. Jin's Dominion. Now, I missed all of this. This is one of the things that really blew my mind. This 5v5 conquest map is now open for beta testing in unranked and in custom arenas. Elder Yasmi the Fickle has drawn competitors into the mist to fight for her amusement. From time to time, she will open up a capture point in her bottle. The team who captures it will be granted a single-use skill. Yes, guys, there's a new conquest map. It feels like a long time since we got a new one. Back during Season 3, you'll remember the devs were... I'm trying to find a hot join for you guys here. Look, I've never even loaded into it, right? There you go, Beta Jin's Dominion. It strikes me that during Season 3, they had a push to add lots of new conquest maps, and then it kind of stopped. What was it? After Revenge of the Capricorn? And I've kind of always regretted that. I wanted to see them do more. Even during the Heart of Thorns days, you'll notice we never got any Heart of Thorns expansion themed maps. None of them look like Auric Basin, or look like Tangled Depths, or look like Verdant Brink. But here for Path of Fire, there is a Path of Fire, you know, architectural asset-oriented PvP map that's been added now. This is awesome. I'd love to see that they do another Conquest map for HOT-themed stuff as well, like kind of good jungle-themed. Courtyard doesn't count in my opinion. I think that would be so, so cool. I know some people think that Conquest isn't the way to go forward, but I really do believe in it. And as well, you guys may, you might not know still at this point, but I've actually been doing very regular videos, like almost daily videos. In fact, it was daily for like 30 days straight on my second channel about PvP. Every day I get in, play a game, and do some commentary, whether it was a good game or a bad game. I cannot wait to experience this, learn about it, and do some Game of the Days on it. I think even the season's back, isn't it? Ranked is back now? So you might see that kick up now. Yes, it is back. Oh, man, and it ends next year. Jesus. So, wow. Super cool, and you guys should definitely check that out. I'll have a big dedicated production. I may even make it onto the main channel if you guys are interested enough. But the thing is, as far as casual audiences are concerned, I think a lot of people aren't interested enough in PvP to warrant. So, I don't know. That's why you see a lot of what I do is on the second channel instead of the main one. This is cool. And, of course, in PvP, we can... not on this hot join, though. Classic, right? But on some of these, you'll be able to free cam around as well and spectate and really get a good look at what the place is like. I don't know what the mechanics are like. I don't know what the jumping puzzles are like. Oh, fantastic. Really, really keen to see what else they're doing there. Not only is there the Jin's Dominion, but there is also the Asura Arena. So this is Jin's Dominion. Here, so there's 2 maps that have come this patch. So this is 2v2, which some people think is much more perhaps the future of PvP. This one we actually can spectate in. So this one, very, very simple map. I actually think I remember seeing a mined version of this from Tyria 3D a long time ago. So yeah, you would come out of your gate and then push up and just fight with a very simple 2-floor different, you know, 2-tier thing. This is a lot like a guild hall arena in a lot of ways, actually. You can approximate this with super adventure decorations and stuff. I remember some of our old guild tournaments even created maps a little bit like this. Curious to see whether there'll be much community activity and things going on there. And it seems to be themed a little bit like the mysterious uncategorized fractal that we're all familiar with from the Fractal of the Mist. So yeah, 2 maps coming in at once. What more can I say? A brilliant patch for PvP. So there's a new set of achievements for this map as well, as the patch notes explain. So if we go to competitive, here you got all the individual maps. Jin's Dominion, there you go. So there's a new selection you can do here in line with what all of the other categories are, as you've probably done before. Beyond that as well, there's a new armor set for PvP. It will be a tier up of the previous armor set. So here's what the patch notes themselves say. Mist-forged Glorious Heroes armor has been added to the League vendor and the Tournament vendor. So this character you can see here, this is my Sylvari. This is purely PvP geared and kitted out right now. This tune once the loading screen's over. This is not the max. There's like 3 tiers already. One of them, the highest tier as I understood it before this patch, was you actually had to be good at monthly tournaments. You needed to get 4th place or higher. This is the best armor I could get, which is pretty rare to see, honestly, with the matching back piece and dyed to fit and all that kind of stuff. But now there is another tier that they've added this release, and that'll be a big reward that I'm going for over the next coming weeks. I don't know, it depends how long, or months even more likely. Where would they probably put it? Here at the Ascended Armor guy. So there's Ardent Glorious. Yeah, look at all this. Oh my goodness. So there's a new set here as well. I guess I'll preview one for you all. So you can already see light, which is what I'm wearing, to tier this up. And it might be dyed awfully, so you have to forgive it. Don't judge. I know we have a tendency to do that online. We judge the gear sets very, very, very quickly. So it looks like it's got a much more prominent effect on it now. That's all the stuff that's dyed in red. That's kind of cool. I'll have to play with it for a while to see how it really fits. But yeah, so another new armor set too. What else do we have? Now, the Rune and Sigil stuff, I'm not sure, and the patch notes don't seem to have really described whether that came to PvP. So, for example, I know the Sigil of Battle was buffed like mad. I don't think that's changed in PvE then. So I think all the Rune and Sigil changes are not PvP based right now. Maybe someone can correct me. Does Ogre exist in PvP? It doesn't, does it? Scholar, I know what they changed about it. Oh no, the Rune stuff has. So Runes changed, but Sigils didn't. Maybe it's a bit of a mix. I'm not sure. Wow, oh my god, so much could have changed here. You'll see here the T6 on Scholar is a little bit different there. So, wow, there's just going to be a lot of shake-up for the game as far as I'm concerned right now. Almost towards the end here, there were some other changes. World versus Worlds. They changed the marked effect. You guys can pause the video if you'd like to have a look here. It seems like minor tweaks more than anything. There's a new trick that was added, though, the Target Painter. You throw a trick that allows the player to mark up to 50 enemies in a targeted radius of 360, and it cannot be avoided. So this is what will reveal where people are. I really like that idea. You got the Stealth Disruptor Trap having a bit of a change. It's been renamed to Target Painter Trap and will now mark up to 50 people. And then lastly, they did change Participation, which will no longer decay outside of World versus World. As a result, rewards based on participation, pips, and reward tracks will be delayed until the next full tick when entering World versus World from outside other maps. So I guess if you're waiting in queues and you want to swap map and you want to do stuff like that, you don't have to feel bad that your participation is dropping. Not that I've really had that experience. That's just my speculation as to what's going on there. Again, maybe you guys can help me out with that. Then also there were some significant changes to Black Lion stuff. So normally I skip over this, and you guys can pause if you want to see what's for sale or log in and just look at the gem store, obviously. But two things of note. First of all, with the Rune and Sigil update, the upgrade extractor item has received a permanent price reduction. So, they're trying to get people to actually find that valuable to buy now. It's available as a utility. You can get it in a pack of 3 for 250 gems, a pack of 10 for 700, or 25 for 1,500. So, hopefully they'll be a little bit more available and maybe useful to people right around the patch. And then the other one that's actually quite interesting to me is the guaranteed wardrobe unlocker. There's kind of a point with Guild Wars where you've got enough... I didn't know that llamas just casually ran around in here. Oh, no, that's someone else's mini, is it? Okay. There's kind of a point in Guild Wars where you kind of have a lot of the skins you like and you're just trying to fill in sets. And the wardrobe unlockers kind of become a really big part of what you spend all your money on, getting gems to do more wardrobe unlockers. Maybe gamble at getting something great. Well, check it out. They say they've received a significant update. The maximum rarity for equipment skins has been increased to exotic. And many older exotic items have been added. Future updates to the wardrobe unlocks will continue to add older exotic items beyond this initial set. Over 600 new items have been added, most notably weapon and armor skins, but new dyes, gliders, outfits, finishers, and minis have also been added. So I'm pretty sure by them adding exotic there, that really kind of opens up a lot of very, very strange and peculiar fringe skins that are on the TP. Might now be just that little bit more available. And I'll be very, very curious to actually use some of mine. I've been stockpiling in them, and maybe this might be the opportunity to go ahead and do it. I don't know, maybe we'll throw it up on a stream or something coming up. So there you go, guys. Big changes for Guild Wars. Again, I really do apologize for this month. Sometimes life is not what we want life to be, and I really didn't want it to affect work or anything, but that's the way it goes. Hopefully things won't be too rocky as I get back into things. You'll see very frequent videos coming out. Obviously, there's so much subject material to dive into here. Fans of the LP, please do not fret. It will be back as soon as possible. And yeah, we will climb back up on the horse. Thanks so much for all your patience, guys. Those of you who have been wondering where I am and you went out of your way to go on the subreddit and send me messages and stuff and send support even though you don't really know what's going on, that really means the world to me. You guys are like really supportive and thoughtful, and I don't deserve you. So thanks, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for more big stuff. If you feel like I missed anything, let me know, and I'll be back very soon. Cheers, guys. Catch you next time.